Good morning. Today is the 26th of July and this is part 4 of the Shambolic Shuffle around Festivity Unexceptional 2025. I do apologise in advance if I fall over, if I get things wrong, if there's wind noise, if I get interrupted by announcements. I'm afraid it's just the way that it goes on this channel. So despite arriving before 9 o'clock this morning, there's still people coming in. I gather there was some kind of incident on the A1 or something, but we shall continue with what we're doing. So we have a very nice 2002 Audi A2 1.4 Sport. I actually filmed one of these in 2023. They're not necessarily not necessarily that valuable, to be honest. These cars at the moment, they're very interesting. They built these actually at a loss for the company, but they didn't replace them ever. There wasn't enough sort of demand. They only made money on the options on these cars rather than the units themselves. Next, we've got a very, very late Volvo 940 estate, 1997, 1998 on an R. I wonder if this is a celebration, actually, this one. The ones right at the end were the celebrations of the Torslanders, I think. It should be 2.3 engine. A lot of the later ones were the 2.3 low pressure turbo. I'll just skip that one, viewers, and move on down here. My gosh, it's like Forbidden Fuel Road down here. Let's just go on to this Jaguar, because that won't have Forbidden Fuel engine. Jaguar Sovereign with stickers on it. And a beige leather interior. This is an X308, this, isn't it? Beige leather interior and wood, excellent. Very good. Personal plate on that. Just have a closer look at this. Oh no, I don't need to have a closer look at that Toyota. We're going to keep going, viewers. Right, 93, 94 Renault Clio Mark 1, early one. I can't remember when these came out now. I forget. I think it was about 1994, the Mark 1. So they had a long production life. 2007, I think they were discontinued. Never sold in right-hand drive, actually. Only left-hand drive. And then another Peugeot 305. I've never seen so many together. This is the third one I've seen. Late one, 86, 87. On a D, 5-speed gearbox. I can't remember what engine these had in them, to be honest with you. It's not a TU, was it? An XU, I think, by then, wasn't it? And then a Vauxhall Vectra B. It's a 2.5 V6. I actually have quite extensive experience of these because Mr. Coleman Rubbish Mechanic used to actually own one of these. It was a 98 2.5 V6 Arctic for a while, so I drove that quite a lot. A Nokia 3210 on orange, pay as you go. Oh, that's very much my sort of era view, as I remember those. My mother actually had one. It was a grey one rather than a blue Nokia 3210. People remember those sort of things, don't they? Gosh, I'm old now, aren't I? Right, a Vauxhall Cavalier Mark III, the immediate predecessor to the Vectra B. In fact, it was called the Vectra A in lots of places. Not over here, though. Pre-facelift one. 1988-89 SRI model. With cassette storage solutions in there. Can't remember what engine these had in them now, the SRIs. Was it 1.8? Can't remember now. And then a Passat B2, I think these are called. The early one, 81-82 registration, GL5 specification. I think GL5 was just got a 5-speed gearbox. So got windy windows though, so not necessarily the nice luxurious specification. Very similar to the B2 Audi 80, but I have driven actually. I drove one of those in 2022, I think it was. Then we've got 2001 Hyundai Accent Mark II. I've driven a Mark 1, I've not driven a Mark II actually. I'd like to try one of these, of course. It's a 1.3 GSI model. Next we've got a Ford Escort. Now it's not an Orion. It's an Escort. In September 1993, they actually changed the model name from Orion to Escort to bring in line the rest of them. So this is an early Escort saloon because the Orion name was deleted about the time that it was registered, around that sort of time. We don't have a rear wiper, unfortunately. There's something to do with gears and things, but that is very nice. It's very nice indeed. It's a Mark 5B, they call those. So then we move on to Renault 5. 1989 Super Sack 1.2 TR ID Special Edition. I really want to drive another Super Sack. I drove one of those in 2020, a long time ago now. It was a 5 Campus, a special edition, sort of towards the end, from '94. Then we have an MG Metro 1300. Not all of these had alloy wheels. Actually, a lot of them didn't have alloy wheels at all. This one doesn't. It would have had the wheel trims originally. Quite late for one of these, sort of 88, 89. Like this 205 over here, 205 Open Special Edition. I think this was here last year, one of the previous years I've been here. This is the 5th year I've been here, so I get confused sometimes as to what cars were here. When you film 8 to 9 parts of half hour each, you kind of do quite a lot of cars, so you can't possibly remember exactly what year everything was. And another Cavalier Mark III 2-litre SRI. So bay window Volkswagen, early bay window Volkswagen actually, so slightly kind of technically like it was too old for the event, which is stupid because it's not really, but the concourse section is 1970 to 2000, so this is actually getting on in terms of one of the older cars that's here. I appreciate seeing bay windows though anyway, 69. Brilliant. What's going on with this 205? It's like the front end is just way too high. What is going on with that? Strange. I think these are GTI wheels on this. Much more standard 205. It's been quite a late one. Some of them didn't even have a trim. It's a 205. I think the automatic ones are like that. So it's a 95, 1994, 95. Oh yes, viewers, excellent. A 1999 to 2000 Astra 1.6 LS. Sorry, I don't want its club. This one is. I wonder if this has got the same 8-valve engine in as the one that I drove earlier this year, which was also a 99 with a 1.68 valve. I don't know. Anyway, so next to MGB GT, of course, again, technically slightly too old, but I don't really care. It's the first one I've actually seen here today, so I really think that's good. Anyway, 1.1L Fiesta van with the low-spec dash in it. As you can see, it's all very bare. And a 4-speed gearbox. Excellent. Superb. 87, 88. And then we have this Mark III Astra. Now this car has been made to look older than it is. It shouldn't have actually orange indicators on it. It should have the facelifted car have the clear ones. But that's fine, you can do whatever you like. It's also got it looks slightly different on the rear end. Is it expression pre or post edition? Anyway, Vogue LSE Range Rover. Test bed ready for the P38s that came a little bit later. This one is a sort of 93. 94's almost got a soft dash in them. This is still a hard dash one, which is nice. Nice colour. Very nice colour. Heritage Certificate will tell me exactly what year this is. Yeah, it's a 1993. A little bit newer is this Rover R8. It's a 214 SEI. That's not an original badge. Nightfire Red. The SEIs were quite popular. They were a late sort of special edition for these. Double A sort of Southampton Salisbury plate on this actually. Probably a 94 because it's not going to drive his airbag. Oh, viewers, a Nissan Bluebird. Yes, please. There's T72 Bluebird. This one is. I really like these views. I mean, I'm a bit biased because I'm, in kind of the Datsun Owners Club UK Facebook group, which caters for pre-1995 Datsun and Nissan. So I'm a little bit biased in that way, viewers. But very nice. A 1.8 GS, which is the same specification that I drove in 2022 or 2023. The red one I drove. Very, very nice indeed. We like those, viewers. We like them very, very much. So, Peugeot 405 GL, probably a 1.9, I imagine. Relatively early car, pre-facelift, 1989 to 90 on a G. Again, that's really nice. I really need to drive a 405. I haven't managed it yet. I've done a walk around an MI16, but I've not actually driven one. I need to correct that, viewers. I've seen this before actually. This is a French registered originally Mark 1 Fiesta. I think it's an S 1.3S. This was rescued from someone in the south of France, I think, and then brought over here by, I think it was Classics World or something. I can't remember exactly. Somebody in the comment section no doubt will tell me. But this actually registered before the cars officially were on sale in this country. It's 76. They only came to this country in 1977. Corsa B 1.2 LS, very early one of the absolute first in 93. This one was on the Furious Driving channel about the same time that I drove a 1.2 Merit from 1995 actually. We didn't coordinate ourselves very well, Mr. Richard and I, at the time. We just sort of released two videos that were very similar. Anyway, 1980 Renault 12, my gosh, one of the absolute last of them. Obviously, in some places, obviously, particularly in Romania, where we're about to Dacia, they continued far beyond that. But for our market, I think this was one of the very last of them. By this stage, Renault 18 had been out a couple of years. So there we go. Then a very late pre-facelift Mark II Polo from Winchester Motor Company, which is not very far from where I actually went to school, actually. It's sort of about a 5-minute walk. BK, Old Southampton or Portsmouth area plate at the time. Now a Skoda garage, still there. 89 to 90, that particular car is, and I love seeing stuff like that. Original plates, 5-digit phone number before we put the 8s on them in the early 90s, I think. So in this case, 66331. We'll skip over that for a second, viewers, and have a look at this Mercedes 202 instead. So it's a classic. The later classics do have a lot more equipment than the early ones. The early C-Class classics were very, very poorly equipped. That is the 240 6-cylinder engine. Right, viewers, Mark IV Fiesta again. What trim level are we on here? SI maybe? I don't know. No badge. Who knows? Alloy wheels though. And a personal plate, so a little bit of a loss here. Next though, we've got another Mark II Polo. This one is a post-facelift one, G40. By this stage, they had a brake servo in them. Brake servos were not fitted to right-hand drive Mark II Polos until 1990, which means the brakes are scary. Having driven one of these, a 1992 car, I think it was in 2019, it was also a coupe and also red like this. The brakes are still not great, but at least there is a servo. Standard interior on this, BBS alloys were standard on these. The steering is very, very heavy on these. That was one of the things that makes them a bit tricky to drive, but they are really quick. You've got a supercharger in them, so appropriate plate on that as well. And then yes, for sunny ears here, viewers, I did 163 miles yesterday in this car. And I got 44 miles per gallon out of it. So there we go. Not too bad, although at some point, whoever owns this car after me, which is probably going to sell it in a couple of months, should really treat these bumpers to some restoration. But I've been driving around like this and it's fine. You know, it's not concours or anything. But it's okay. It's actually doing all right, this car. Next, we've got a Fiat Seicento Sporting from 2000. With the 1.1 fire engine, I think it is, in these. Very nice, particularly good in yellow. And then we've got a French registered Espace, a Mark III Espace this will be, from France. Sort of registered in France, left-hand drive. Ooh, la collection Espace, there we go. Mark 1, Mark 2, Mark 3, Mark 4, there we go. Excellent, it'll be about 2000, something like that. 06, I think it's from down in the south somewhere. 1982-83 Austin Mini Cooper. Well, it's not a Cooper, is it? It's just a car from the early 80s, dressed to look a little bit like a Cooper. Although someone had actually taken the time to change those rear lights for Mark I rear lights, which involves actually reshaping the bodywork, so that's impressive. Next, we've got a 97-1998 Celica GT. Mark V Celica? Mark V, I think these are. Excellent. Okay, so another Mark III Polo 1.6 GLX. That's a very, very rare specification. Most of them were like CLs, the odd GL. GLX, very rare, with the passenger airbag. 75 horsepower, I think these had. Not a lot of power for a 1.6, really. The one I had, which was a 1998 5-door in bright green, which is a different colour from this. Yeah, 1.4 CL, which had 60 horsepower. So the hot hatch really was the Polo, I think it was called the Polo 100 horsepower actually, like the Panda 100 horsepower, I think it was called, which was not that fast, but it was faster than most of them. Next we've got another 306 here. This one we can talk about. This is the 306 XSI. I think this is a 2-litre one. It's one of the latest ones. Let's have a look at the front and see if this is a phase 2 or 3. I think that's a phase 3. Yeah, there we go, phase 3 from 99 to 2000. I've done a couple of these, an earlier one and a phase 2. And then Mr. Pink, who has disappeared somewhere off. This is his Yosana. He used to have 2 of these. One of them used to be owned by Ian Seabrook. This one is the other one. Oh, there he is. We'll say hello to him in a second. 1991 registration. I think since Ian Seabrook owned his Sana, 2 of them are now back on the road. There were none on the road at the time when he owned it. Now we've got 2. 1.4 GL was abject luxury. Hello, sir.
Hello, Mr. Lloyd.
Are you enjoying your Yugo t-shirt, sir?
I am, absolutely. Yes.
Right, there's 2 of these on the road now. These two Sanas.
Yes, there is a base spec one and this one on the road.
You're a good man, sir.
Good to see you anyway.
Thank you, sir.
Enjoy the rest of the day.
Thank you, sir.
Would you like a full tour at some point?
At some point, sir, but I have 4 more parts to film, so I better keep going. Thank you, sir.
Good to see you.
Yeah, we've got to keep going. I'm afraid, viewers, we can't have a full tour right this second. We're going to have to wait for that. Anyway, beautiful Volvo 360 GLE. I really, really want to drive a Volvo 360 GLE. So far, I've not had the pleasure, despite being the owners club for Volvo for a few years now, but this is the way it is. I mean, I probably wouldn't want one necessarily myself with these larger wheels and that exhaust, but rest of it, very nice. Early XSI here as opposed to the later one that was there. It was 1995-96 registration on an N. And then a nice final generation, I think NG they call these, Saab 900. I like these very much, viewers. In some ways I prefer these to the 930 OG 93 that followed them, because I'm that sort of person for reasons. Anyway, then we've got this very nice E39 BMW 5 Series. I don't think it's an M model. Only got a 5-speed gearbox for a start, so I don't believe it is. But it's a nice colour and everything. The car I actually followed into this event is this one here. Is a Mercury Grand Marquis. I believe this is a 1994 model. It's a GS. So there we go, viewers. I'm someone who just likes to drive them as they are, clearly owns this car. I appreciate that, to be honest. I appreciate that a great deal. Next, you've got a 1999 Volvo C70. Having owned one of these, a coupe myself a few years ago, I know them well. And this one, like mine, has a beige leather interior with wood. It's got an Alcantara inserts, but nevertheless beige leather interior. I don't actually know what. Thank you. It's 2.4 turbo, which has about 197 horsepower. Those engines had. Yeah, I forget the name of this colour now. Maybe the information sheet, which I should have read, would say. Yeah, turquoise pearl metallic paint. The owners of these do tend to keep them quite a long time, actually. It's just the way that it goes with old Volvos. Right, 1998, 1999 Toyota Celica Mark 5 again. Is that the same colour as the last one? I've already forgotten what colour it was. It is the same colour. I can see it over there. Excellent. How about a Volvo 480? with some interesting coloured alloy wheels. In fact, two Volvo 480s. This is a much later one. It's a facelift car, 1994, 1995. 480 Frog. Most of them, the 480s were an ES, like this one is as well. This is a much earlier one, sort of 8990 on G. I drove one of these, also an ES, in 2022, and I quite enjoyed it, although I didn't realise some of these had like unpainted bumpers. I've forgotten about that. And then another 106, which we can't talk about here, so we're going to move on to talk about this Laguna instead. Facelift Mark 1 Laguna with the 2-litre engine, the trim specification will be the other side. I drove one of these last year. It was actually a very early one. It's a 1994 one I drove. Very low spec. It's a 1.8, I think an RT or something. Have a look at the side of here. It is the Executive. Ooh, viewers. Yes, a leather interior and other nice things. Really what you want for your Laguna is one with the Volvo 4-cylinder white block in that. The 5-cylinders in the Safran. But yeah, you could get one of these with a 4-cylinder Volvo white block engine for some reason. Fiat Punto convertible. I think I've seen another one today as well. We might see that later on. We've still got a long way to go, so we'll keep going. Very nice, 1995-96. And then a Honda Civic Aerodeck. 1999 registration, 1.6 LS. If you are an interesting person, then you can turn a Rover 400 or 45 into one of these as well. You can put a front end of a 45 or a 400 on one of these, and you can make yourself a Rover 400 or 45 Tourer. If you want to do that, then you can. And another very beautiful car, this Audi 100. This is the C4 shape, I think these are called. And it's nice. I think we've seen this before. This is a 2.3 E model from 1991-92, early one of these. And then a Volvo 850 T5. Yes, please, viewers. And the Volvo 5-cylinder white block is lurking right there. There we go. We know it well, viewers. Fabulous. I do like Volvo 5-cylinder white block engines. And another R8. This one is a GTI, I think. 206 GTI, I believe. Yes, 1990-1991 registration in flame red. We had one of these on the channel recently. It's a 220 GTI, actually. So Mr. Bill from the Fuel Power channel is here. And here is his car, which we'll cover in a little while, because we need to get to the Sinclair C5 Owners Club stand at one point, because we do have one over there. And then we've got, look at this Proton, another one of these. They did not carry the Saga badge in this country. They were just called the Proton 1.3, 1.5, or sometimes the MPI for these later ones. This is an SL model. It's 1.5 SL Aeroback, these were called. They look a bit weird, to be honest. The Mitsubishi Colt that this is based on, I have filmed one of those as well. These had a completely different hatchback design from the Colts of the same era. For some reason, Proton went their own way. I don't know why. Mind you, got a bigger boot, so I suppose you shouldn't complain, should you? This is a 94-95. An Infiniti Q45. Now, they weren't sold, I don't think, over here at the time. Infiniti came to this country much, much later, in the sort of late 2000s. This is a 1994. There we go, look, 2009. I was right for a change for years. Makes a change. There we go. Yeah. Excellent. I quite like that, it is. And then a K10 Micro. I'm surprised this is the first one we've seen. Actually, considering we're about halfway through. But there we go. Not even a trim badge on that. 85-86 on a C. Next we've got a Renault 5 GT Turbo. It's a bit different from the last Renault 5 we saw. 86-87 on D. Early one. I think these have slightly less power than the later ones. They've still got the 1.4 Clay Enfant engine in them. They're quite valuable now. One of these sold recently for like £30,000 or something. Some insane amount of money. Next we've got a Volvo 960. That's more like it, viewers. Complete with Panama hat on the dashboard. So you don't really need a Panama hat today, viewers, because it will disintegrate, so probably not a good idea. This is a 3 litre 9495. Excellent. I didn't expect when we saw a Rover SD3 that we'd be seeing a German registered one, but here we go. A 213S with the H on the end of the number plate, which in Germany designates a historic vehicle. I don't believe these were as popular in Germany as they were over here, but we like it nevertheless, viewers, like it very much. Then a Volvo S70, we've seen some V70s and an S70. Personal plates, I don't exactly know what year. They came out, I think, in 1996 these came out. They only made them until about 2000, so not the longest production life ever. It's with a 2.5 white block in it, which is very nice. 1997, 1998, Rover 216 SLI R3. Excellent, viewers. More R3 action. There seems to be quite a few of them here this year for some reason. And then an early Nova, like a really early one. These came out in 1983 in this country, and this is an 84, so right at the sort of beginning with this sort of brick red interior. No model designation. I think we might skip that Toyota RAV4. I don't quite know what it's doing here, viewers. Right, give me 1 second, I think we need to check something here. Oh my gosh, viewers, look at this. 2 Matizes, 2 SEs, one of them belonged to Ian Seabrook, this one didn't. This is from 2000. Ian Seabrook's Formula 1 is from 99, although they look almost identical. It's good to see that actually somebody cares enough to keep these old Matizes on the road with a famous provenance or without one. So there we go. I've actually never driven one of these. I've never been offered one of these to drive for some reason. I'm not sure why, but there we go. Next, more R8 action. Very early R8, this one. First year of production, 89 to 90 on a G. Got windy windows in here. This would be like an SI or something, I should imagine. I actually see, yeah, 214 SI this one is. I think we've seen this before somewhere, probably. Another thing from the early 90s, very, very early Mondeo. This is a Mondeo base spec. It's a 1.6 with no trim level. It's actually a really early one because they came out in a K plate in early 93, so extraordinary. This one is for sale for 1950. 07817 861951. As Mr. Bill from the Fuel Power channel says, this could be yours. I saw this coming in actually, the Seat Marbella. Now this was based on the Mark I Panda. You can see with these quarter lights and things, they never updated the shape of the original Seat Panda to Mark II specification because they weren't allowed to. Because there was some dispute of right between Seat and Fiat at the time. So the Marbella continued like this until the mid-90s, I think it was. 903cc engine, but originally I think went into the Fiat 600 in the 50s. They're not very fast for 900cc models. I think you've got about 40 horsepower in this, but seeing any Seat Marbella is extraordinary. I also like this very much, viewers. This 1990 to 1991 Volvo 440 GLE injection. Now, the leather interior was optional on these. This is very similar to the one that I had. I had a 460 GLE from 1991, which had different wheel trims and a leather interior. I have it in 2023, which actually I took it actually here. So I'm very familiar with these cars. Like mine, this is an automatic. It's a 1.7 Renault F-Type engine in that. Then we've got this Mark III Fiesta gear with the most extraordinary wheels I've ever seen. What on earth is going on with this? Brilliant. So someone's obviously modified this slightly. We just put the hubcaps onto standard Mark III Fiesta steel wheels, and why not? Like the Volvo 1990-1991. And we've got a very nice Mazda Z-Dos 6, another Z-Dos 6. It's getting great here, viewers. I'm very, very much enjoying seeing more than one Mazda CX-6 at this event. I wonder if this is the V6 like the last one was. Like this very much. We also like the 323F, which had the same platform, which also was available with the same 2-litre V6. The Vauxhall Omega, this is a late one, 2002. I think they finished production the next year after this, actually, from memory. So, yeah, we like that. Like it a lot.
Probably that blue one though.
It's a 2.6 V6, actually, that one. Then we've got a Toyota Camry. This one is a V6 as well, 1999 this one will be, or 2000 on the V. Yes, please, viewers. The 1MZFE engine. That looks great, viewers. I'd love one of these. I'm going to make us a shopping list, aren't I, of things we actually want to buy. Anyway, thank you ever so much indeed once again for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like this video in the comment below, and we shall see you again very soon for some more incorrect information.